These prompts will open your eyes or at least give you that vantage to see what's going on that you may not have considered, especially as you're planning out your next quarter, your marketing, your year, what your next move is. So Chris, do you want to explain this prompt?
Yeah. So the logic here, right, and it's telling us, which is cool. Topic 1 hands them the door, bottom of the funnel. Topic 2 makes them do the math, right, middle of funnel. And topic number 3 catches the rage, the top of the funnel, right, TOF.
Mm-hmm. Start with something, take that something, put it into the next, then go a little bit deeper, do a little bit more, let's grab some more. Okay, now what can I do with this? Here's my pricing model. Here's how we answer the phones. Here's how we market this. How could we change our marketing to fill that gap that we just found, that gap in the marketplace? What can we do to be more strategic than our competitors and stand out better? So competitive analysis is huge in running an agency, running a local company, local business or anything. And it is kind of one of those things that, I'll get to it someday. AI's made that day about a 30-minute task if you do it right.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaning Success Podcast. AI Marketing Experts is your backstage pass to the future of marketing. Hosted by a powerhouse crew of AI-savvy entrepreneurs, including John Clendenning, this weekly show unpacks the tools, trends, and real-world applications of artificial intelligence in digital marketing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest episode of the AI Marketing Experts. I'm joined here. We're missing a few people, but we have our whole crew here, and we're going to talk about all sorts of things with AI and marketing. Today, we have a very interesting concept here that we have put together. And basically, it's about competitive analysis. How do you do competition, or deal with the competition online? How do you figure out what they are? Right. And the problem is that if we're always, as small business owners, wondering what are they doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? Right. And if you're an agency owner, obviously you've got competitors in your market. If you're a small business owner, you've got all sorts of competition that's out there. Right. Well, if you have tried doing this in the past, and you're not getting a good output from ChatGPT or whatever LLM that you're using, we're going to show you exactly how to do it and how to get the exact output that you really need in order to help you move the needle.
I think this is a common topic that we receive from small business owners, is that as we ask, who do you feel is your competition? They may say, oh, I don't have any competitors. And even if you approach that this way and think, okay, but I'm intrigued as to what others are doing, these prompts will open your eyes or at least give you that vantage to see what's going on that you may not have considered, especially as you're planning out your next quarter, your marketing, your year, what your next move is.
Yeah, I think as Chris is pulling up the screen, I'll chime into that as well, because having run local service businesses for 30 years before doing this stuff, or in the middle of doing all the marketing and consulting and all that stuff, that was one of the things that I found actually helped differentiate between the people that are strategically operating a business and growing versus the reactionary. Is that most business owners they just think they're the best. They hate all the other guys kind of idea. And we just do things so much better. And they never mystery shop. They never check. They don't mystery shop their own team members and stuff, let alone which we did painfully, because, you don't want problems in the marketplace that your team isn't telling you is happening. But you also want to find out the gaps, and who's doing what, where, and when. Like if you're targeting, think Chris and I have talked about this before. If you're targeting the 15,000 square foot home roofs and the size of that job versus the 1,800 square foot home and the size of those roofs, they're entirely different companies in those marketplaces. They speak differently. They market differently. They answer phones differently. They follow up differently. Did you know that? Did you check into any of that? Are you building your business around one or the other, or just trying to be in everything for everybody, and which is a definite recipe for failure. So competitive analysis is huge in running a agency, running a local company, local business or anything. And it is kind of one of those things that, I'll get to it someday. AI's made that day about a 30-minute task if you do it right.
Absolutely. It used to take so much time. So what do you have for us today, Chris?
Okay, so we're going to pretend that because we didn't want to step on anyone's toes or anything like that, and so what we're going to do is we're going to say we are starting up a SaaS, right? And the SaaS stands for software as a service, and so the SaaS that we're starting up is an email marketing platform, right? Our main competitors would be in that space, probably MailChimp and ActiveCampaign. So we're going to do a competitive analysis on ActiveCampaign specifically. Okay. So I'm going to show you what typically happens. Most people go into ChatGPT, right? And if you followed us for any length of time, you understand what I say about ChatGPT, but here we are right here. Okay. All right. So most people will do exactly this right here. What can you tell me about ActiveCampaign? Did that actually come through?
It did.
Yep.
You
We
did.
heard you that time. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. You could actually hear the prompt. Okay, good. All right. So what can you tell me about ActiveCampaign? And that's it. Most people will put that in as a prompt, and it's going to do all sorts of stuff, and it's going to come back probably with information that might or might not be relevant, right? So let's see.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that a little bit if you get the chance.
Can you not see it? Let me zoom. Here we go. Is that better?
That's great. Yes.
And for those listening, we'll read a little bit, but yes, on the screen is your typical generic PR copy dribble.
Yeah, right. ActiveCampaign is primarily an email marketing plus marketing automation platform that's evolved into a broader CRM customer experience automation system. It sits somewhere between basic email tools like MailChimp, enterprise platform like HubSpot. Right. So this is basically a lot of information that's probably just out there on the internet, most likely coming from their website themselves. Right. What we want to do to figure out what they're doing on a marketing side of things is way different than what it's giving us here. Right. So
yeah.
What do y'all think about this prompt here?
Well, I know that
customer sentiment or anything. No, I don't see any customer sentiment or anything like that. What do we? Yeah, it does seem pulled right off a website, just generic dribble.
It is, and I mean, at least it's one step forward. Using AI, just say, hey, what can you see? What can you find? And obviously, we're using very popular companies here with our examples today. If we would have selected a local company, we would want to not only be specific about the name, maybe the location, start asking what kind of customers they serve, what kind of homeowners they serve, what kind of areas are they in. So you definitely want to provide additional information when you're starting, even with that initial prompt, because it will pull off what is online. Obviously, ActiveCampaign has a lot because their foundation, their footprint is very strong because they know what they're doing. But so this is giving us a lot more information than if we would have said, tell us about ABC location in our area.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems good. It seems basic. Basic first draft output. It wouldn't be something that, again, you could probably get a lot of insider action on. How would you price comparatively if you're starting your own company? What are the real customer complaints, things that people like? All that kind of stuff. If you were a agency, tried to, hey, I'd like to pay you to do a competitive analysis on my new SaaS company. If you copied and pasted this into a document and sent it to them, they're going to go, well, I could have found that myself. Like, no, really, what's the gap? Like, where's the
exactly?
But see, that's all Chris, the information that basically we didn't feed it, right? So, anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so what would be the next step? How would you strengthen that prompt using more insight or two that would actually provide us more insight? What would you recommend?
Yeah. So I've actually got a pretty good prompt chain over here that I think that will work just fine, that we prepared beforehand. And basically what you want to do is all that stuff that you were saying, that John was saying, that is not there, you got to ask it to go look for that, right? So again, we're in ChatGPT, but I would use a better tool first of all, right? I would go to something that has direct access to absolutely everything on the internet, something like Perplexity, okay?
And Perplexity is already known to be a little again. It does a deeper sentiment analysis just on its own, the way it's built. ChatGPT is, what did they say? It's how many months back is the knowledge, right? At 8 months, 10 months, something like that. It's its active context window. Perplexity goes out and sees what's happening right now. It's Perplexity. I always thought, just if anybody else thought this as well, Perplexity was its own LLM. Well, it isn't. It's an aggregate LLM. So it uses in the background a bunch of different like OpenAI and Anthropic and a bunch of other ones to create its context. It's not its own data servers and its own thing. So interestingly as well, so Perplexity has always had sort of a little bit of an edge. Claude writes better. ChatGPT is more of your Swiss Army knife. Perplexity, and there's others in the mix, but Perplexity is sort of that one that seems to be better for research in general because of its context window and where it's pulling from, just in general.
100%.
And right there, you can see the difference. Yeah, you can see the difference in the prompt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so a better prompt
exactly.
works, like a way better prompt, like a big deeper prompt is going to get you better answer. And which LLM? So compete LLMs against each other. I think we've talked about that before as well. Is check one, check the other, that kind of thing. Start building sort of like a case around what you're doing as well. That's always helpful in AI. Yeah. It's not to just
100%.
stuff. Some of the other ones are free. Like, I mean, you can at least try the free one out till you want to pay the $20 or the whatever. If you're coding and you want to be, the $200 max plan like Chris, that's entirely different. But there's Gemini also and all as well. Just check the different answers out. But a better prompt is going to get you a better answer. And then you can compete the two against each other or three and really dial in some really good insights.
100%.
And Chris, while this is running, why don't you drop that same prompt back over at ChatGPT so that they can see the difference as to what would be pulled and what would not be pulled, to our point as to how it's aggregating through the LLMs as well as its up-to-date information.
100%.
And I think that proves John's point too, is you can do the exact same prompts in both to see what information is presented.
Mm-hmm.
But the deep research in Perplexity is usually amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going to let that run basically, right? So, we just asked it here, what are the specific complaints, any threads, discussions about them on Reddit? Everyone knows about Reddit these days. Current pricing tiers, news, articles, blog posts, all that kind of stuff, right? So
and ignore their own marketing. Ignore their own marketing, because again, we all market our best foot forward. So that's right at the top of that prompt as well, which is a very smart point. Like say, hey, actually ignore what they're saying and let's see what everybody else is saying. The reason why Google reviews blew up years ago is like, hey, I don't care what's on your website. I care what Nancy said around the corner about your business. So,
right.
And also that 1 and 2 stars, 1 star is usually outliers. There's just people that are mad. 2 stars are generally disappointed customers. And that will start showing you a gap of where your company might be able to step in and fill it. Also kind of gives you an idea of what complaints are out there. So don't always ask for the 5-star ratings. Consider the 2-star. They are going to give you a lot of information.
And I think 4 stars, another side of that is a 5-star is a raving fan, right? And so if somebody's got 392 reviews and they're all 5 stars, I don't trust them, just to be straight up. And people don't. The actual trust in an aggregate of ratings is somewhere between 4.7 or 4.6 and 4.9, I think is the numbers I've heard before. People don't trust a perfect 5-star, because you're not going to be perfect. Somebody who leaves a 4-star review is like, I'm mostly happy. Here's a few things that I would have done differently. Imagine the business intelligence in that, right? The intel that you can get from how close they got. Like think of an Amazon. If you sell, I used to sell products on Amazon as well, and the competitors, we always found what we were always looking for, and it was manual before the days of AI. It was literally manually scouring through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of competitor reviews inside Amazon to say, hey, what did somebody almost perfectly like, but made a little comment different? Can we add that to our version? Right? So another little point there.
100%. So now, right, what we're going to do is we're going to go into another LLM here, right? As you know, my favorite here is Claude. Okay. So we're going to take the competitive analysis information. We're going to take this prompt and we're going to throw this in here, right? And right here, Okay, actually, I'm going to remove that and switch it with Active Campaign real quick.
Okay.
And then we're going to take our entire output that we got here from Perplexity and just copy this entire thing. Okay. And we're going to paste it right here into the Claude conversation. Okay.
And what's this prompt about? Just
so this prompt, can y'all see it? Do I need to zoom in on it?
For the listeners as well. We're now doing a synthesis of the data.
Right. So act as a direct response CMO with 15 years of experience turning competitor weaknesses into client acquisition campaigns. Here's the raw competitive intelligence on Active Campaign. Okay. That's all the information that I just pasted in that was from above. Let me get down to your task. Identify the 3 most specific positioning gaps, areas where this competitor is consistently frustrating or disappointing their customers, and real review informed data. Name each gap clearly. For each gap, write one punchy counterclaim headline under 12 words that a competitor could use in their own landing page or in a Facebook or Google ad to speak directly to those frustrated customers. Number 3, for each headline, write one sentence explaining which customer segment it targets and why the language will resonate with them. Be direct, be specific. Don't use hedge words like perhaps or might. These headlines need to be usable on Monday. Right. And the output here that we're telling it, 3 positioning gaps, each with the gap name, a counterclaim headline, and 1 sentence deployment note. Okay. So I'm using Opus 4.7, by the way. That's just what I use on a daily basis. So I'm going to hit go on that thing. Let's see what comes up.
And I love that idea of saying, hey, because you think about, again, that's going back to my Amazon conversation. If you can take what is frustrating that you fixed or what is slightly off what you fixed, but using the exact language that the people in that marketplace are using when they state these things, right? So anywhere that you can get the voice of the consumer and have that ingested into a knowledge base of some sort, that's kind of what we're doing here is we're building it out, and then using that as your speak back again, right? So, you got a customer that complains to you, fix that problem, and then have your website and everything else in your marketing speak back to how, because you've now corrected it. Now you know that if there's a legitimate concerns that have hit the marketplace, not from even the competitors, but from your own business that you've corrected, use that in your marketing because that was a real intelligence, intel in the company that you can solve for.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. So it came out with a couple of gaps, 3 gaps, just like we told it to. The gap number 1 is the death by 1,000 clicks, right? Headline, stop hunting for buttons, start sending campaigns, right? This was based off of, the information that it gathered, that Perplexity gathered, okay? Lost work and mid-campaign glitches headline. Your campaign shouldn't vanish when you hit save. All right, that's very valid there.
Very valid.
Next one, stealth price hikes plus slow support headline is no surprise price hikes, no 48-hour support waits. Okay, so these are all pretty good. I could probably do some split testing on those as ads to run traffic to a landing page to see which one is actually working better, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it came out pretty good. You know me with Claude, I like Claude more than any other platform. But as you can see, we use all of them, right?
Yes.
It's not just one because each one have their specific things that they are good at. So Perplexity to me is very good at the internet, just like Gemini would be. Gemini is hooked up directly to Google, so it's got all of Google's information. So I could have easily have done that inside of Google or Gemini itself, right? But coming over to a really good reasoning LLM that really, really knows me, well, that's Claude. Okay.
Yeah.
For me.
Yes.
Now, since we have time, I'm going to take one more prompt here. We're going to tie it all together. Okay.
And while you're doing that, I think that as business owners, we have to know that there are still what they call silent funnels, so the churn, a company that may have a lot of churn still can appear very dominant online. There's going to be some objections that they're able to handle online that may not be called out. So there obviously is painting a picture, but maybe not a complete picture, but it's sure a stronger picture than what we've ever had in the past. And it is easy for small business owners to run prompts like you're demonstrating here today and really get those insights as to what the gaps are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll share a little way that we teach our clients to in the coaching group at the end here, just as a dovetail it together in a minute. But I'll show you how we actually get our clients to mystery shop the competitors as well through this whole process, or like in the coaching program, to kind of try and fill in a few of those silent funnel gaps as well. And because I used to do it in my own businesses, how we could figure out what the other guys were doing in the behind the scenes, because that's where the magic happens as well, right? The stealth marketing that showed up not publicly in flyers and door hangers and ads, but privately in referral partners and and community events and stuff like that. And you got to get the bigger picture of what they're doing.
So Chris, do you want to explain this prompt?
Yeah. Yeah. So this last prompt here, basically it says, based on the same competitive intelligence, identify 3 content topics that ActiveCampaign is not addressing in their blog, social media, or marketing, right? So we're filling those gaps in, but their customers are clearly asking about based on the review and Reddit data. For each topic, write a working title for a blog post or YouTube video we could create to capture their frustrated customers through search. Output 3 content gap topics with working titles immediately usable as a content calendar for ICP, which is ideal customer profile, B, agency clients. Okay. So, right, the topic 1, the escape hatch, ActiveCampaign won't build, right? And the title is how to export everything from ActiveCampaign in under an hour. Okay. That probably would be a good blog and probably would be searched on quite a bit there, right? Topic number 2, the pricing math nobody publishes. The true 3-year cost of ActiveCampaign, why $49 a month becomes $300 plus, right? As anyone who has experienced anything with them, I understand that pain right there. As you started out at $50 and then all of a sudden you're paying them $1,000, right? Topic number 3, the glitch insurance policy. Title is how to back up your ActiveCampaign. Automations before the next glitch wipes them out. Ooh, that's not cool. So yeah.
No, but anybody that's felt that pain, they're going to grab that.
Yeah, 100%. So the logic here, right, and it's telling us, which is cool. Topic number 3 catches the rage, the top of the funnel, right? TOF. Topic 2 makes them do the math, right? Middle of funnel. And topic 1 hands them the door, bottom of the funnel, right? So it's actually working backwards here. So that's cool.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah. All right.
So try this. So do one thing on this now. Because you're in Claude, so I assume which are you in Cowork or are you just in Claude Chat? Because what I'm going to say is
I'm in just in chat. Yep.
Have it create a 1-page dossier that you would hand off. The CMO would hand off to the business, or the consultant would hand off of the raw data versus the synthesis, just a 1 to 2 page final, position report, right? With some examples. Because as we know, Claude can create these beautiful reports, right? So if you can get it to create a report, I'll share a little bit of what we teach, and we'll just let me share the screen for a second. And then as that's running, I think that would be at the end, we can just kind of show what it would look like as an output. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let me share my screen and I'll just show you what this looks like in our practical world. So you guys see the screen. I run Blueprint for Success growth coaching for home cleaning services. On top of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, we do digital services and marketing services, but we also coach people on how to become $1 million cleaning businesses. And one of the things we're teaching in the coaching program is competitor intel, right? So it's a couple modules ago, but and what we got everybody to do is actually run a very similar prompt, right? So what it was finding your competitors first, who are because you might have that person that you hate and you're pissed off with. We actually some of our coaching members came back and said, you know what, these guys show up everywhere. And when I reached out to them and called them and started to do some mystery shop competitive analysis on top of it, like use AI to help find the competitors and find the gaps, but then actually create a mystery shop. So that's what we did here is like, research sources to find, websites, Google Business Reviews, FAQs, guarantee language, all of that stuff. Do not invent facts, separate hard evidence, do not overrate companies, all that, and come back to me. Basically, the first prompt in this chain was to find competitors. You could add one that you knew that you really wanted to target, but really let the AI go and find who is legitimately the top dogs in the marketplace, right? You might think you know who they are, but there is that, we talked about that sort of like those hidden funnels, that stealth stuff. Let's see if we can flesh that out a little bit more in the marketplace. And then we had them validate that. So it's always good, like Chris just did there, put a second prompt in to go, okay, now go a little bit deeper, go a little bit tighter, right? So when you're prompting, always say, cool, try harder, right? That's how they kind of the way to think about it. We give them these nice, long, deep prompts for our coaching members. They just go copy paste into their prompt chain inside a folder, trained on their basic, we call it basic company blueprint, but it's your master prompt. So trained on your master prompt, put it in the folder, have a new thread, start doing this stuff. It knows all about you already. You don't have to teach it that kind of stuff, right? So if you're doing it yourself, these are kinds of the things, the way they come together. And then we actually had it create a natural buyer call script. So, and even to the point where I used to do at my company, I would have people I knew hire in a competitor to go to do a job, and I paid the bill. Right? If there was somebody I was worried about was starting to get better than us at something, speak better than us, learn from us, like we had people like modeling our guarantees and modeling our scripts because I just wanted to lead the marketplace with everything we did. And we started hearing mystery shopping. We tried to do it every 6 to 9 to 12 months kind of idea, but over the 28, 29 years I owned the businesses, we would do that. And so we would actually, from time to time, maybe every couple of years, pay for a competitor to come in and do a service. And we wanted to know everything that was said, everything that was done, all that, because we wanted to know what was really happening in the marketplace, right? So that was how we did. And then basically find the positioning gaps. Once you do all of that, then we just basically said, okay, cool. Now let's start finding, the study the marketing material, and find the positioning gaps, the pricing differences of the top dogs, the high end, the offer structures, the guarantees, the trust building that they do versus us, and all of that, so that we can now be the market leader wherever you want to fit that in your brain. To me, the market leader isn't the cheapest, the commoditized business. It is the premium service provider at a reasonable price, right? So you can lead the market in price and have a top tier pricing, but you also, because your ideal client lives on Golf Course Road, if that's who you're targeting, for example, but differentiators and stuff. And now you take all of this, and then in our bonus prompt, it's like, cool. Now let's build my marketing material around that. Let me create headlines and copies and stuff like we just did with Chris. So if you think about it in that way, this is just a prompt chain way of doing it, but it's kind of what we just did. Is start with something, take that something, put it into the next, then go a little bit deeper, do a little bit more. Let's grab some more. Okay, now what can I do with this? Here's my pricing model. Here's how we answer the phones. Here's how we market this. How could we change our marketing to fill that gap that we just found, that gap in the marketplace? What can we do to be more strategic than our competitors and stand out better?
I tell you what, if our listeners aren't watching their computers, that's where they might need to go next, because what you just shared, John, was extremely valuable. And I know, Chris, as we're getting closer to the end of this episode, you have another thing to show them with what you were running. So exciting times.
100%. And it really all comes down to, not being tied to one specific tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a professional in the marketing industry, you should have multiple tools in your tool belt, right? And as we all do. But what I wanted to show you is two things. First, this is the output that it created for us, right? Based off of my really simple prompt, create a one-page dossier that you can hand off to a CEO as a final report with examples. Okay, so that's basically what it all came up with. Yeah, super clean.
To
and
the
it matched the one page. You try that in ChatGPT, and your one page is 7 pages, and you go, "Why did you give me 7 pages?" Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me try
100%.
again. Then it gives you 9. So,
Exactly.
So, way to go, Claude.
The other, yeah, right. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to show you guys is I before this had it do the same kind of a thing inside of Manus. I love Manus because Manus is a very good tool for competitive analysis to begin with. You give it a very basic prompt, and it can go off and do it. So I gave it a very simple prompt. Let me go back up here. And I did this beforehand instead of doing it, during this, simply because we have, it'll take a while, right? Because it's more of an agentic platform, right? And if you don't know Manus, it's not new. It's been around for a while. It was one of the first agentic type platforms out there. And I've been using it probably 2 years at this point. They were just recently purchased from Facebook. That's now being contested in China. And there's this whole thing going on there, right? But anyways, it's built right into Facebook nowadays. When you go to Facebook, there's a Manus button right there. So it'll take you right to it. Okay. So I told it I have a new, I said it twice. I have a new email marketing SaaS company called eSendR, right? And I would like to do a competitive analysis of ActiveCampaign. Please do a competitive analysis of ActiveCampaign. Tell me what channels they're strongest in, what their offers are, what ads they are running, and how I can beat them in online marketing. Compared to what we just put in, right? That's a very, very basic prompt. Okay. Not as basic as the first one that we started with, but anyways, where it came out with was this a bunch of really good information. Like if I actually did have this SaaS, this would be juicy information for me to go, oh, okay. And I might already know what their plans are, $15, $49, $79, $145 levels. I might already know that, but what ads are they running, right? On Google, I didn't even tell it where to go, right?
Yeah.
Google, Facebook, it went to both of those places. 3 biggest vulnerabilities that I can exploit. And how eSendR beats them, right? It doesn't even know anything about my company. I completely made that up and pulled it out of the air. If you do take that, or if that is the name of your company, I apologize in advance.
eSendR.
That was a completely made up. Yeah. Right. But then it creates this cool, report automatically with pretty much every output that it creates a report for you. Right. And you can download it as Markdown, PDF, or doc. You can send it directly into your Google Drive, or in my case, since I've got, OneDrive, either personal or work, I've got them both hooked up here. So,
and that's just a really good example of just for the listeners, if they're not really sure what agentic means, or they kind of get an idea, this is a really good case study of what agentic means. It's kind of considered like a level 3 thinking that Dan Martell talks about, or AI, because what you do is you give it the goal, the outcome, and you say, basically, go figure it out. And it's not one chat that's doing it. It spins, like it goes, okay, how would I research this? What would I care about the most? Who would I, and it spins up separate agents. It spins up ideas, all in the background. You don't have to think it through. So it could go down rabbit holes, but it tends to self-correct as well a lot better. And this is sort of the direction AI is going in general. And yeah, Manus was like the first on the scene with that. That's what Cowork is doing and that kind of thing as well, trying to be that agentic. But it's where it basically says, okay, let me just figure out what do I have to know to figure this out? Let me go find that. Okay, now let me build the plan to figure this out. Now let me double check my plan. And all of that's happening in the background in these tiny little, you can see like little sort of like, hey, here's what I did next. And it's kind of cool that you can just walk away, come back, and be like 95%, 99% of the way there. And if it drifted a little bit, just say, nope, I want this more like this than that. Walk away again, go have lunch. And it's, oh, okay, that's good input. Let me rethink a little bit more. And so agentic flow is really cool.
Absolutely.
100%.
It really does help business owners be more of a director versus sitting there and taking that much more time checking the boxes saying, did this research or did this element or did this aspect get completed? They're able to see it.
So
that is so cool.
When you were talking there, John, I clicked a little button. There's on every output with Manus, there's a little button that down at the bottom, create a website out of this, right? So I just went ahead and did it, and it's in the background, just working away, building an entire website based off of right. And the cool part about that is that you can then share it out, right, with whoever that you want to share it out with, whether that's the world or your internal team.
Yep.
I did the same thing. By the way, I did the same thing. My son just he's about to graduate high school and going off to college. He's an Eagle Scout, so I created a report for him with all of these scholarships for Eagle Scouts. Yes. Like there were 100 of them that it found, right? That he could go out and links to where he needs to go to apply for those things, right? So there's all sorts of really cool things that Manus. That was a very practical use. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
For me, while this is working on it, I know we're almost up with time, but a bridal shower that I needed to do, or I'm trying to coordinate for my daughter. That's what I created so that all the members involved can go to the website and claim what tasks they're able to do for the bridal shower. So it made it quite clear.
Yeah, remember how that was apps and stuff like that? There was Gifter app, like, hey, the whole family get on Gifter app and what gifts you want, all this kind of stuff. Nowadays, again, I think the world of apps is going to slowly fade away because it's like, hey, can you just create me a page, blah, blah, blah. My family can jump on and do this, and there it's done. You know what I mean? It's like we're getting to that point where it's all of these tools are just allowing you to build that custom thing that you want if you know how to kind of get it started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we might run out of time here. You don't need to see the whole thing, but it's basically going to create an entire website out of this. Now, before we jump off, I wanted to mention something here is that all of these prompts that we've been talking about, right? One of the things that you can do with this inside of Claude, inside of Perplexity, inside of even Manus now, right? You can create skills based off of those prompts. So I shared with you the prompts that we used on this use case. John has a whole bunch of those prompts that he was using for his local folks there that he's working with, right? Or the cleaning folks that he's working with. You could create skills out of those, and it creates a repeatable process that you can use over and over and over again. So you don't have to, all of this copying and pasting is going away. Okay.
Yes.
So, it's real super easy to do it, in every platform to create a skill out of everything that you just did. Right. So if you find yourself doing something, copying and pasting prompts over and over and over again, just create a skill out of it. Right. And use that skill next time.
And that can be as simple as asking, convert this to a skill or create a skill from this. It'll walk you through depending on the platform. And then to call those out, it's usually just a / that you're going to be able to, if you've named your skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still working here. It might take another 10 minutes or so. Right. And we're not going to, waste our time on that. Actually,
so check the show notes, join the Amy. Right? Join the Amy Insider community. You'll get the show notes, these prompts, all that kind of stuff. Christine will, in the background, will be handling getting that all together. So if you join the private community, it's free. Jump in, and if there's a link to an output, or we can of the actual web page when it's done, we'll put a link or at least a PDF or a graphic, so you guys get to see what it actually turned out to look like.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to wait around. So thank you all so much. This was fun sharing kind of a few of our things that we have in our belt, our tool belt for AI marketing experts. Any final thoughts on anything there, Laura or John?
I say try it. It's amazing. And again, that just increases your comfort zone. I know a lot of our episodes, we go very high level on some things or deep dive. This one's very practical, easy to copy and paste, easy to see what the competition is doing in your industry.
Yeah,
100%.
Very good.
All right. Well, until next time, make sure, like John says, make sure that you share, like, comment, whatever, all down below here, whatever platform that you are on. Make sure that you join us in our community that we are currently building up, right? So it's free. Come on in, get the show notes, get everything from this episode.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.